Wake up in the morning, I just gotta get it. Wake up in the morning, I just gotta get it.
All right, welcome everyone to the Schoology Learning podcast. Thanks for joining us. This is the podcast where we talk about some things we're hearing out in the world about education, as well as some tips and tricks about our favorite platform, which is, of course, Schoology. My name is Kellie Adie, and I'm joined by my colleague, Ericka Waterman.
Hey, Kellie. I'm so excited for us to take this time. I just remember how fun it was when I was teaching to take the lunchtime or, any little break that we had and just kind of talk with colleagues. So hopefully everyone can join us and just get a little chit chat about education and Schoology while they're at it.
Yeah, so let's get started.
Kellie, you know that I do these customer feedback sessions, right?
Yeah,
You've heard about
they're
these,
great.
haven't you?
Yeah, people love those.
I've really been enjoying them. My team gets so much value out of them. So if you haven't heard, we do have these customer feedback sessions, mainly for, the district level people, just because they can give me a concatenation of the feedback that they're hearing. But it's a chance for people to give feedback on what we've just released, what's upcoming, even future topics. And I'm always very excited for them. And like I said, they just have become so integral in what we do. But this last one, I'm, going through and telling people about a new function with our course templates that are coming out. And I happen to mention how, a lot of districts use the course templates to push out the grade setup page. And so many people on the call were floored by this. I was like, wait, what?
So, and boy, I'm thinking about that one, like the course templates function that included that came out. I mean, when did that come out?
I think it's been a couple of years.
I thought it was 2023, but I mean, I have to go back and look, but that's not something that's brand new, but.
No, and so through the conversation with people, we got to talk about how they were thinking course templates just had in their head, like, oh, I have to do all the content. And there's a lot of school districts who are like, we don't want to do that for our teachers. We want our teachers to have autonomy in the classroom, et cetera. They get to structure it the way they want. They just have to, cover our curriculum map. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you can use them for that, but you can also use them for other things. So it was really interesting to talk about like the power of just using it for the grade setup page. Like go ahead and get all those things set up so that, day one, your teachers come in, the course is there, the setup's there, they just have to add the content and get going. So it was just really fascinating. It reminded me that maybe we should go back to the basics, right? Like we're at the start of the school year. Do we go back to like, hey, here's some like fundamental things, just in case you missed it, you could be doing with Schoology.
Yeah, especially this time of year when that kind of workflow is actually super helpful. It's funny because when we first released it, my first thought was to lean into that immediately because not everybody had content ready to go. And I was like, well, but just for the grade setup alone, this thing is amazing and would save a ton of time. So yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah. And I think more and more districts are going to start using it in terms of not only the grade setup, but like, here's resources we want in every middle school classroom, for example, or, and hopefully we get to the point where there is more content, at least initially pushed out and available. I would love to see course templates become more robust, especially when we deal with teachers needing substitutes, teachers leaving, teachers coming and going, districts having to find teachers to cover subjects they may not be familiar with. Those templates can come in really handy with that. Hopefully, if you haven't checked it out, please look at the course templates because it's pretty powerful. And we also have a new functionality available in controlled availability, which just means you have to ask support to turn it on. But you can automatically distribute those course templates also. So you can set them up ahead of time, map them to the courses you want to go. It's a set it and forget it. You don't have to think twice about it, which I think is pretty awesome. Especially you could just tweak them year over year and you don't, the courses will just automatically be created with it. So pretty cool functionality.
Yeah, that's actually very cool. And honestly, a pretty long requested feature because we, like you said, we have a lot of people that have courses with course content that maybe doesn't drastically change. And especially when we think about, and I think we've talked about this before on the podcast, but with some of the new people that are coming in that may or may not have the education back, like we do have a teacher staffing challenge, and being able to give a new teacher just resources right off the bat, and making sure that all the teachers that have that particular course or section just have a common set of resources. It's just really
Exactly. Yeah.
valuable. Yeah. So
Agreed. And instead of sending out like, hey, here's where you can find all this stuff, imagine just putting it right in the course for the
yeah,
teacher. It doesn't have to be published, right?
yeah, yeah,
Kids don't need to see it. Yeah, such a good point.
yeah.
The other one that we had recently released, so it was a newer functionality. But I was really surprised by people not knowing about it for one, which means, I got to tweak how we're getting our announcements out there. But then two, I don't think they were as excited about the functionalities I thought they would be. So I wanted to get your take on it, see if you're excited about it.
I probably will be, but go ahead.
Well, otherwise I completely missed the boat with this one. So this is going to be good feedback just right on this podcast.
Okay.
We made it so that the advisor association, so the file that can like associate advisors to the students would be automatic. So you can again, kind of set it up and forget it. It can just run. And so you can have people who are associated to these students in the advisor role.
Yeah.
And I thought this was going to be like mic drop moment. Everybody be really excited about it. And everybody kind of went, we kind of want parents. I don't know about this. We didn't know about this first. And I was like, oh, but you can do parents. We do have the automated import for parents. And it made me wonder if people realize the way that advisor association can be used. Because I think you and I have talked, and you have some good ways, to a different way maybe to think about advisor versus your traditional student advisor.
Well, yeah, actually, when you first said that people weren't excited, my first thought was they don't quite get exactly what that's talking about. So I was thinking about we had advisory period, which was basically like homeroom. One of the high schools I worked in years ago. And I could see someone thinking, oh, so they're already in that class because it comes over with sis or whatever. And I thought that the advisor functionality was such a game changer. I mean, even from the beginning, before we introduced what you just talked about, we would map we had interventionists that we would map to people that was basically their caseload. So they could get in and see anything the kid was working on. We had obviously we had folks at a principal level who had access to the entire student body. And then, we would also use it for almost ad hoc things for, let's say, clubs or something where, and I know it's eligibility is a lot. That's kind of a can of worms, but if you've got a coach that's working at the school and you're if you want to, just kind of see if your folks need some extra help or tutoring or whatever, great. So yeah, that's funny. And that was the one challenge though, with actually using it was kind of a pain to, there wasn't the automated, that's amazing. So mission accomplished. I'm excited.
Okay, good.
I think that's awesome. And I think it's one of those things too, that we maybe gloss over with the advisor dashboard, because we focus so much on the course experience when you talk to people, and that's obviously a hugely important thing, but there's so many people that are involved in the growth of a student and in their success, and it's not always just the teacher who's assigned to them. So wow, hopefully the word will get out. Maybe it's a matter of having, maybe we should do a blog post on the amazing advisor dashboard and
what it can do and what they can see. Yeah. Because one of the things I like about Schoology is just the visibility. The visibility it can give parents, the visibility in, those who have this, we call it the advisor association, but to your point, it's can go well beyond that.
Yeah.
But that view that it gives them without having to actually be a course admin in a course, you don't have to give them, they don't have to be enrolled in the course. Like you don't have to
Yeah.
give them all that visibility. You can just give them the students that they need. And I think it just helps emphasize that Schoology can kind of be that place to go get the information about the student. So yeah, so I got the word out now, at least through that customer feedback session. Hopefully we'll see more. And hopefully those that listen in, if you're not using it yet, go, wait a minute, should we be doing that? I just remember how many times I had to answer questions for the paraprofessionals in the room and my special education colleagues who they were like, hey, I'm not scheduled to this student, but at the same time, they're on my caseload. I need to be able to see what they're doing. And, instead of sending reports and things like that, I could be here, have this association and get in there yourself. Yep.
Yeah. I remember, and I'm trying to think if it might have been somebody who was, I think they were actually like teaching Avid or something. And they came to me and said, I have to be added to all these classes to be able, and I was like, you don't though. And they're like, oh my gosh, because my course listing, I can't, man,
I'm
I was
sure
like, yeah, I was like, you're hurting my brain.
It's like to scroll through all that. Yeah.
Can I just show you something real quick?
Yeah. Let's do it this way. Yep.
Yeah. Let's see if this works for you. And we would often get questions from, especially from, principals or assistant principals on, how do we help the other people that are supporting the student? It's such a differentiator, like you said, the way that Schoology was designed, because it was designed for K-12, there was an inherent understanding that it does take a village and the village needs access to see some things that are important, but not for everybody, just for the kids that they're responsible for.
Yeah. Yeah. So it did make me think about, again, kind of going back to those basics of like, I think you and I, and a lot of people who work with Schoology frequently forget that there are so many other pieces that you could be using, you kind of get comfortable using it, how you've used it. And so, it's a good reminder to kind of take another look around, which I recently took another look around our User Toolbox.
Oh, yes.
And found that they had these great back to school checklists.
Yes.
And like there was one specific to parents that listed off like, hey, parents, this is how to message your teachers. Here's how to see your students, upcoming and overdue work. I was in a quick little document that just kind of explained it all to them. And I thought how great to just send out that reminder to parents. Cause I don't know about you. Well, my son's a junior, so we're getting towards the end of it. But after every summer, I come back and I'm like, wait, how do I use this again? Like, where do I go again? They unfortunately don't use Schoology, which makes it way more complicated. But but it's that, those helpful reminders. And so if you haven't been to the User Toolbox lately, to all of our listeners out there, just a reminder that is available. You can get to it. There's a User Toolbox link at the bottom of your Schoology page. You can go there and there's these back to school checklists. They've got them for administrators, which does mention the course template for grade setup, which I was very excited about.
Yep.
And then there's one for teachers and one for parents. So kind of nice to see they were trying to be a little helpful, a little proactive this back to school season.
Yeah. And I think, we often at the beginning of a year have time devoted with, especially if you are a tech coordinator or you're involved in supporting those that are using technology. You've always got those days at the beginning of the year to get things up and running. And it's something you do only maybe once a year. And so, people come back and are like, oh, I can't remember how to do this.
Right.
or you miss an important step. You're like, oh, I should have remembered that because I had to do that last year. And I love that those are on the school. Like, I really do love that the toolbox is so easy to get to and such a great place to find resources exactly like that. So
yeah. And the expert videos that they have on there, I think are just, they're very clear, understandable. I don't think that gets enough love. So like, I applaud you to the team that's keeping that running, because it really is pretty great.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite tip for our audience for back to school? Is there something that you're like,
ooh,
every back to school, I would this?
I think every back to school, I would actually remind people about the power of Schoology groups, because, at the beginning of the school year, you have maybe new PLCs that are being put together, or new sets of teachers that are working together. So it always is helpful to remind people that, like, hey, this is a great space to collaborate and share and work smarter, not harder, and, really have a dynamic spot for people to do some pretty cool things. But also all of the people that now are doing clubs, and like the groups area is just so flexible. And I know at the beginning of the year, it's easy to get yourself into what are the list of courses I'm teaching, or, just getting focused on the actual instructional side of things. But there's so much else that happens and can happen in those groups. So that's one thing. The other thing is, our Schoology, PD team would make resources that they would share inside of the public resources area in Schoology. So sometimes I would remind people of some of the really nice things that I think are useful from there. One of the things I really love that they created basically speaking of like the unsung hero of like maybe things that people don't use that they should think about using, media album. It's a media album that's full of icons. That's like numbers are like the exact size you need for like folders. And like if you want to jazz up your the image you're using, let's say in the elementary experience, there's cute little icons. Because sometimes we're just looking for something fun to put as an image. So they just shared this whole library of images that were copyright free, that anybody could get to, that I just loved. And then they also had some examples of choice board activities. And so for those of you that maybe don't know of the space of which I speak, and you're in the resources area, there's a public resources spot and anybody can share there. So it's not vetted, but it's just a really nice place for anybody who's a Schoology user to share something for other staff. Students don't have access to it. But if you do a search in the public resources for hashtag SGYPD, you'll get a list of things that the PD team has shared in that spot. And so sometimes I also remind people about that.
I love that. And I love the concept of, listen, you can go 1,000 places to search for images, for example, what you're saying.
Yeah.
But to have somebody who has curated a list,
Yeah.
it's in the right size and it's in the same product. So you can just copy it right. Like you're all staying within Schoology. I just think that makes it so much easier. Because even sometimes when I find an image and how do I save it?
I know.
How to resize it? Like I don't know. I feel like it's a pain. And to be able to share resources, like you were saying with your if you've got a group of people who are all teaching the same thing but across buildings, and you're sharing within that group, being able to pull those resources down right in Schoology is helpful.
Yeah. Well, I think what's going to happen, as things always do, is that we're going to hang up for today, and then I'm going to think in a half an hour, oh, I forgot about this one. But
It's always how it is. We have too many favorites.
Exactly right. So maybe I'll next time I'll say, oh, by the way, I thought of one more thing. And actually it'd be interesting to ask people that are in those roles of supporting schools as they start the new year, what's the one tip that you would share? Like that might be a fun champions question. It's like, what's your one
think that
tip
would be.
Yeah, if it's the start of school year, what's the one thing that you always want to make sure people know when they kick off the year with Schoology? So, well, I'm excited about what you.
Yeah, it's
really,
always helpful to hear your tips.
I'm just excited. It's so interesting that the user feedback sessions. It's really illuminating, isn't it? Of the things that we think people know about that maybe they don't, or we haven't highlighted enough or whatever. It's a good opportunity for us to also rethink how we re-energize people around some of these things that maybe they have kind of fallen off the radar a bit, but are actually really cool.
Exactly. Yep. And hopefully this is just one more place. So thanks everybody for listening to hear all about our basics with back to school.
And if you are in that boat right now, good luck. We hope you have a very smooth start. And don't forget to check out all those things we just talked about. And if you're listening to this and it's mid-year for you, it's never too late to check out those things as well. Well, thanks for joining this episode of the Schoology Learning podcast. Hope to see you next time where we'll talk about some more topics of interest and, of course, talking about our favorite platform, Schoology.
And in the meantime, if you click on the User Toolbox at the bottom of the Schoology page, there are lots of resources out there, including other episodes of this podcast to listen to. Until next time.
And hope to see you next time. Thanks all.